Yesterday you saw me dive into the world of offshore casinos. Not because I'm looking to promote illegal casinos and gambling, but as an academic exercise into what the most aggressive SEOs on the planet are doing right now. Because these search results are highly regulated, sites get filtered out, tanked, or attacked with negative SEO all the time, and yet for those who push through, the rewards are significant. Again, that's not a recommendation, that's not an instruction, it's just a simple, unavoidable fact that offshore casinos have got some of the highest affiliate payouts in the industry, and so some of the most aggressive, most talented SEOs on the planet are in those niches, and they're applying these extremely innovative and creative strategies in order to rank cost effectively. This is churn and burn, where some of these keywords are literally worth millions per month in commission. So even if you only rank for a few days, a few weeks, the returns to these operators are significant. Therefore, from my perspective, it's worth paying attention to just to work out how the algorithm is being engineered, how these guys are finding the loopholes, and how these loopholes are being exploited across a range of different geos and industries. So yesterday I touched on the subject of GamStop, which is basically a regulation that if you gamble too much, too hard, you can get kicked out of the network, and all these casinos signed up with regulators are obliged to honour this GamStop. So that's already kind of golden nugget number one in terms of understanding this, that most of us in SEO know that casino is always one of the highest paying niches. There's always this concept with digital marketing of it's all about pills, poker and porn. You want these grey hat industries that are heavily regulated, they can't necessarily do paid ads. Therefore, if you can do organic SEO, then the rewards tend to be significant. But again, this thing has levels, so while you can look at white hat casino keywords, where you might have a lot of parasite SEO and news sites dominating, you can then dig further into the realm of offshore casino, where the tactics just get more and more interesting. Now, before we go any further, don't forget to join my free school community, the Church of SEO Jesus. We're having lots of active discussions right now about these techniques. We're now up to 739 members, with some extremely talented names I recognise already on the leaderboard. So I was hesitant over moving into school, what's the advantage over a Facebook group? But trust me, the quality of the platform and the conversations that we're having are very significant. So if you want to take anything you see today further, then make sure to join the community. It's absolutely free, and then you will be sent an offer to join my Disciples community. That's my paid school community, where you've got more access to me and also all my courses. But to get back to the topic of today's video, it is the world of GamStop and these kinds of restrictions that tend to reveal the most innovative SEO techniques, because we're getting into the world of black hat offshore casinos where they're not regulated, and therefore they pay a lot to these aggressive affiliates. But these aggressive affiliates are also quite limited because these keywords are extremely competitive for SEO, but also they're very likely to get blocked or destroyed one way or another, whether it's from governments filtering the search results or Google tanking the site. So these search results are getting cleaned up all the time, so it's very much churn and burn, get in, get out. So how are they doing that? Well, in the last video I talked about age domains and how they're using canonical redirects in order to power up burner subdomains, so that when the subdomain gets burnt, they can just rotate again onto the next one, and they keep on building all their links to the age domain that's passing the power and authority to the burner subdomain. But of course that burner subdomain itself has got a lot of resources thrown at it as well. One of the most effective ones at the moment is viral traffic. If you send a load of viral traffic to the URL, then it is forced up the Google results. This is a strategy we serve across a load of different niches, and it is very effective and very popular. So I'll leave a link below and you can sign up for your free ClickBomb strategy call. ClickBomb is what we call our process of sending all this viral traffic to a URL that looks like it's coming from social media, so Google decides temporarily for a few days you decide to go onto page one, and it works great around the whole realm of different niches, and especially for parasite SEO like Reddit threads. So click the link below and book your strategy call today, and then we can talk you through how that works. We do include a guarantee, so if you don't get a decent positive movement on your URL, then we'll basically work for free until you do and keep on click bombing that URL. But back to the task at hand and the point of today's video. So yesterday I told you about the GamStop or the non-GamStop niche, but the simple fact of the matter is this is actually international. So while GamStop applies to the English SERPs, regulators around the world have got their own equivalents. So in the Netherlands, for instance, their equivalent of GamStop is called Crux. So the phrase casino zonder crux, casino without crux, that gets searched 5,500 times per month. You've got to be careful with these traffic estimates because people are manipulating the search volume, partly because people are doing what's called auto-suggest manipulation, where you can see down here we've got Casinos on the Crooks by Bitcoin magazine. We've also got Casinos on the Crooks Bitcoinist, and again that's kind of a variation on ClickBomb, where if you send a load of traffic to that search, you can actually influence the auto-suggest. And what that means is when these 5,000 people are searching Casinos on the Crooks, they're going to see Bitcoinist and Bitcoin Magazine at the top and get curious, and they'll go straight to that URL, that brand that's been mentioned in the auto-suggest, rather than just using the generic keyword. So that brand therefore only has to rank for the keyword plus its brand name because it's creating its own search results from people clicking on that auto-suggestion. So that's in itself an extremely powerful technique. But never mind, back to the task in hand. We can see again we have one of these funny central net domains, .it.com, supposedly a DR of 92 because it's built on it.com. But just because you register a domain on .it.com doesn't mean you're really getting the full power of that DR92. You need to unlock that using an age domain. And it's interesting, we've got the title here is Charity Clarity, so I sense there's something going on there with the Canonicals. Otherwise, perfectly simple site, really good long-form SEO content, just we've done for years in different affiliate niches. So what I was demonstrating yesterday was how, if you search for some of this text, you might be able to find the age domain that they're using. Another technique is actually building subdomains on an age domain. Now, subdomains are interesting because typically you can burn a subdomain and the penalty doesn't actually pass to the main domain. So in this case, we've got casinosondecrooks.oidview.com, but if that gets tanked, then there's a good chance they can do new casinosondecrooks.oidview.com and start again. And you still have a subdomain that's inheriting a lot of the power of the age domain. Now, Google's currently translating this from Dutch, which I don't want it to do. Now, Wayback's not been too effective lately, but I'm pretty sure this is an age domain of some sort. So if we have a look at the Wayback Machine from 2008, we can see Boston-based software company. So now what I want to know is, are there any hidden age domains canonical to this site that are powering it up? This is not using a .us.com or .com, anything like that. So it's a slightly different technique. So what I do is I put the text fragment in quotation marks, and that should allow us to see both the current version we're on, but also any age domains with the same content. And it doesn't look like it. We're just getting that page that's indexed. But again, let's have a look at the source code, and it's pretty interesting that on the subdomain, they seem to be canonicalizing to the homepage itself. So we have seen a lot of that in the niche, where even though it's on the subdomain and that subdomain can get burned and then they can start again, they can still basically inherit the power of the homepage itself. So let's have a look at the homepage, and that's canonicalized to the subdomain. So that's really interesting. Now, I'm trying not to dive too deep into any of these sites just because these are people's livelihoods, and it's not fair of me to dig into them on YouTube, but equally it's publicly available on page 1 of Google. What we saw there was really interesting, where we had the subdomain on the age domain that was therefore inheriting power from the age domain, and they're probably chucking a load of links and viral traffic at that subdomain, but the subdomain was canonicalized to the main domain, and the main domain was canonicalized to the subdomain. That sounds complicated, but it's literally pages. So casinosondecrooks.homepage.com, the subdomain, was pointing at just agedomain.com, but agedomain.com was saying, no, the true version of this page is the subdomain. So really interesting there. This one I discovered a while ago. This is just a category page on a rebuilt expired domain. So I've got no idea what's going on here. This is a really interesting loophole, I guess, where we seem to have a money page, and this is the money page, but it's not the money page that's ranking. It's actually the archive page that's ranking. This is on the Hello Elementor theme. I recognize it. So is this just a blip? Is something going on? Let's have a look at the page source, and I'm not actually seeing anything going on there. So that's above my pay grade. And again, like I say, there's much more of just an academic exercise of seeing what's going on. And to actually do that, you just need to go through and just reverse engineer some of the search results, because just because someone else has been able to rank a Facebook page for this particular search that's supposedly getting 1,500 visitors a month doesn't mean you're going to be able to. So this is mad. So Facebook is allowing this on the platform. It's then got a link to a casino website, and yet somehow that page has actually got enough content on it, enough backlink to actually rank. Now, we can only see one referring domain, probably using a load of hidden PBNs, probably using lots of viral traffic to actually make it stick. Now, they have got a load of casino-related back, and one of those backlinks is on another Zondercrooks website. So that's just an overview of the Netherlands search result. I mentioned about regional variation, and Italian regulators are actually really strict, and their version of GamStop is AAMS, AAMS. And so one of the big keywords in that niche is Migliore Casino Online Non-AAMS. So here with the Nation Online, I think this is an expired domain that probably was a newspaper and has been rebuilt as kind of a media website. And actually, there seems to be a recurring theme. We've got Nation Online eng.net and then Premium Times ng.net, and that's Premium Times Nigeria. So I'm not sure if someone just bought a Nigerian newspaper or this is just a Nigerian newspaper. Interestingly, I'm not seeing many of the sort of .us.coms and so on. We've got a .it.com here at number 1, non-amit.com. So just to clarify, that's the best non-AMS casinos and foreign casinos. And again, just to clarify, the whole game these people are playing is basically, this is an offshore casino that still holds a license from a foreign game authority, such as MJ, Curacao, Gibraltar, Isle of Man, not regulated by Italy and therefore outside the control of the Customs and Monopolies Agency. So if you do self-exclude yourself using AMS and you regret it and you want to game again, then you just go to a non-AMS casino, no state-imposed deposit limits. So again, the whole point is just lack of regulation. Now let's put that back into the Italian. Now this doesn't appear to be ranking for anything in Ahrefs, which probably means it's only just gone up, but we saw it's at number 1. So let's just copy a bit of this text and see if we can find an age domain powering it up. Let's just check the page source on this one. I'm not expecting to find anything here. Nope. So I'm going to do quotation marks, text fragment, quotation mark. So inconclusive on that one. So how they've achieved that one, not too sure. Some people getting away with Reddit, probably bought the subreddit or something like that. More Nigerian newspapers. There's another .it.com here. In fact, they've actually got casinos.it.com, so that's pretty impressive. Again, let's check the page. Any fancy canonicals going on? That's just canonicalized to itself, which is correct in the normal world. Let's copy a text fragment, put that in quotation marks. Okay, this is interesting now. So it appears that fragment of text I got is also appearing on this expired domain, and there's only a domain rating of 4. Now what we're probably going to find is this expired domain has been blocked. No, it hasn't. So does this have a canonical? It looks like different content to me, so I might have made a mistake. So if I search canonical, yeah, that one is only canonicalized to itself, so it doesn't seem to be powering up the other side. Let's see if we can grab another fragment of text. One of these, put in our quotation marks either side. Okay, this domain appears to have duplicate content on it. Are we going to be in luck this time? So this one has been blocked, and weirdly, that's actually an expired domain that then redirected me to a .za.com, and I think was actually trying to direct me directly to an affiliate link. So that's been repurposed multiple times, I think. And yet it's a domain rating of just 1. So it seems like in order to get these .com indexed, your expired domain doesn't actually have to be that powerful.